Ladies and gentlemen, we are starting with the plenary session 1 of IMA's 66th Foundation Day and 16th National Management Day. May I request you all to welcome our eminent panel with a huge round of applause. May I now request Ms. Rekha Sethi, Director General IMA, to deliver the introductory remarks, please.
Mr. C.K. Ranganathan, President IMA, Mr. Sanjeev Mehta, Chairman of Awards Jury, Mr. Nikhil Sawhney, Vice President IMA, Mr. Vishesh Chandiok, CEO Grant Thornton Bharat, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure to have you all with us this morning for IMA's Foundation Day. This day is also observed as the National Management Day. A very warm welcome to all on this special occasion for IMA. Mr. Amitabh Kant will join us at 10:45 as he's been called for an urgent meeting. It is always such a pleasure to have Amitabh with us, and we look forward to his keynote, which he delivers with so much passion and work. He's easily one of the best-known policy and management thinkers in India, and IMA is privileged to have him as a friend. Sanjeev, it is a pleasure that you could join us today on not what is just a special day for us, but for you too. A very happy wedding anniversary to you with many more to come. And many, many thanks for making time for IMA today. As the winner of the IMA J.R.D. Tata Award for Corporate Leadership last year, you chaired the jury of the awards for 21-22. Thank you so much for your time and effort, which we really appreciate. A special thank you to you, Vishesh and Grant Thornton Bharat, for doing such a fantastic job as a knowledge partners. It was great working with you and your very talented team. Mr. Harsh Bariwala and Dr. Pawan Munjal, it is truly a pleasure and honor to host icons such as yourself on the IMA platform. Thank you for allowing us the privilege of honoring your extraordinary achievements with the IMA Awards. We are also pleased and delighted to honor the frontline workers who have put their own lives on line to save others during the pandemic. We salute you all. I welcome and congratulate Mr. Vivek Mehra, winner of this year's Dr. Ram Taneja Award for Best Article in Indian Management, and Dr. Kavita Sairam and FIB SOL Life Technologies, winner of the IMA Dr. J.S. Juneja Award for Creativity and Innovation in Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. I would also like to thank Mr. D. Shivakumar, Chairman of the jury, for choosing the Best Article in Indian Management, and Dr. P. Sinha and Dr. Juneja for choosing the Most Innovative MSME, along with the respective jury members. CKR and Nikhil, always great to have you with us. Thank you so much for your wonderful and willing support to IMA and its activities, and for your outstanding leadership in this tough period. You made it possible for IMA to navigate the prevailing uncertainty and continue its reinvention to thrive in these times of radical change. Many of IMA's past presidents, council members, and LMA leaders have joined us today, and I want to take a moment to thank them for their contribution in bringing IMA to where we are today. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, IMA is celebrating its Foundation Day by recognizing management excellence and holding discussions on urgent issues facing Indian management. The economy has been through an unprecedented crisis and is still limping back to some kind of normalcy. This economic uncertainty is accompanied by radical changes in technology, business models, policies, and geopolitics. It is time for enterprises to stop being hesitant and try to thrive on uncertainty. It is also time for business leaders to manage radical change and reorient their organizations from immediate survival to future growth. IMA itself has undergone a dramatic transformation during the past couple of years, and we have invested in serving Indian management in new ways. Despite constraints on revenues because of disruption of the physical world, IMA has expanded its activities. We have used digital technologies and operational innovations to help our stakeholders overcome the challenges of the disruption and succeed in the new economy. For 2 years, IMA has worked almost entirely remotely, and IMA is now well prepared to function in a hybrid world. There is no going back for us to the old ways anymore. IMA can do all this because of the encouragement and support received from all of you, and I look forward to the continued contribution of the past presidents, council members, LMAs, and IMA's distinguished associates and members. With these words, it is now my pleasure to invite the IMA President, Mr. C.K. Ranganathan, to deliver the welcome address.
Thanks, Rekha. Sanjeev Mehta, Chairman of Awards Jury and Chairman Managing Director, Hindustan Unilever Limited, and President, Unilever South Asia. Nikhil Sawhney, Vice President, IMA, and Vice Chairman and Managing Director, Triveni Turbine. Vishesh Chandiok, CEO, Grant Thornton Bharat. Rekha Sethi, DG IMA. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to have you with us on IMA's Foundation Day, which is also the National Management Day. A big thank you and a very warm welcome to all of you. As Rekha said, I look forward to welcoming Mr. Amitabh Kant a little later, but I'm delighted to welcome our other special guest today. Sanjeev Mehta, it's a pleasure to have you, and many thanks for agreeing to deliver the theme address. You are one of the foremost business leaders in India, and last year, IMA had the privilege of conferring the IMA JRD Tata Corporate Leadership Award on you. We are grateful to you for chairing the jury for this year's IMA Foundation Day Awards. You have been at the helm of Unilever's India and South Asia's operations for nearly a decade, and during this period, you have substantially enhanced the company's business and brands. A versatile leader who combines a sharp business acumen with great sense of corporate social responsibility. You are a benchmark for many Indian CEOs, Sanjeev. Thank you for joining us, and a very warm welcome to you. I also extend a very warm welcome to all our award winners, Ms. Harsh Mariwala and Mr. Pawan Munjal. We are pleased to have you with us, and thank you for agreeing to accept your awards virtually. Vivek Mehta and Dr. Kavita Shriram, great to have you with us. We are delighted to celebrate your awards for Best Article and Most Innovative MSMEs with us today. I also want to thank Mr. Vishesh Chandiok, who are the knowledge partners, that's CEO of Grant Thornton Bharat, who are the knowledge partners for this year, IMA Awards, for a great job in helping the jury decide on the winners. Many thanks for the past presidents of IMA have logged into this virtual celebration. I am pleased to welcome each and every one of you. I also extend a welcome to the members of IMA Council and the LMA leaders who have joined us. It's a pleasure to have you with us. Ladies and gentlemen, while we celebrate IMA's Foundation Day and felicitate India's great management leaders, we are also mindful of the prevailing and emerging challenges to Indian management. We are devoting this National Management Day to deliberations on an urgent matter and leadership issues. For the past 2 years, we have lived through fluctuating uncertainty and radical changes. Anxiety about the next changes has become endemic across business, and it requires a new kind of response. Enterprises have to find ways to thrive on uncertainty by managing radical change instead of going into a defensive posture to survive the immediate crisis. COVID is only one of these sources of uncertainty, and there is big churn in consumer needs and preferences, technologies, supply chain, market access, competition, national policies, global trade, and geopolitics. One can no longer wait for things to stabilize before making a move. It is about time that business leaders accept radical change as routine and took measures to profit from the rapid churn. To start in that direction, the mindset has to change from crisis management to transformation management. Instead of prioritizing survival by cutting costs and postponing growth, the leaders must remove anxiety from the organization and charge it up by offering new goals and new initiatives. Thriving during radical uncertainty and change requires capacity building and nurturing environment for intuitive and creativity. To ensure that external uncertainty does not paralyze the organization, a leader must minimize uncertainty within. One must increase transparency of the leadership agenda and methods and invest in technology for live market intelligence, operational visibility, instant communication, and transparent collaboration, and also share leadership both vertically and horizontally. To manage radical change, enterprises need to change themselves. They must identify their new purpose and competitive advantage. They must upgrade their assets and skills to match the new market dynamics. Reskilling and upskilling of everyone in the organization is central to creating and delivering new benefits to the user or to serve the customer in new ways. IMA has been preparing Indian enterprise for disruptive change for many years, and now in these extraordinary times, the organization increased its efforts to help India's management leaders appreciate the emerging challenges and opportunities and provide them pointers to manage radical uncertainty and change. I'm confident that Indian management is both willing and able to undertake the necessary transition and lead Indian economy into a higher growth trajectory. With these words, a warm welcome to all once again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Mr. Vishesh Chandiok, CEO, Grant Thornton Bharat, to deliver the special address.
Thank you very much, Mr. CKR. Good morning to the distinguished panel and to all of you. You know, I could have spoken to you about the economy, about the budget, about the digital transformation initiatives for the middle market that we are driving at GT. But I thought, let me gamble and speak to you about something that's becoming increasingly important for us and what we recognize as critical to thrive in this period of radical change for India, developing a more vibrant and inclusive Bharat. We are all aware that we are expecting to add 1 to 1.5 Indias to our current India in GDP terms by 2030. From this $3 trillion to $6 to $8 trillion is what our GDP will be. Nevertheless, the country still finds itself in the paradoxical situation of being a destined economic superpower. Yes, whilst we've given up the title of being home to the largest number of extremely poor, those who live under $2 a day to Nigeria, yet the number of extremely poor in India is as high as 200 million. 200 million. And we will, ladies and gentlemen, get to a much bigger India, but that Bharat cannot be vibrant without ensuring inclusive growth for these 200 million. Did you know that 50% of our GDP and 70% of our employment is generated by our MSME and agri sectors put together? 50% of our GDP and 70% of our employment. But much of Indian society in the bottom of the livelihood pyramid also belongs to these sectors. Our purpose at GT Bharat is to help shape a more vibrant Bharat, and therefore increasingly much of our work is also oriented towards developing these sectors. And I wanted to share some of our learnings with you. So let me talk about 3 or 4 areas. First of all, empowering small and marginal farmers. As you're aware, with land holdings of barely 1 acre, such small farmers constitute the bottom of the pyramid in our agri sector. About 140 million farmers in India largely operate in these uneconomic sized holdings, which have been affecting both farm productivity as well as market linkages, their ability to sell directly to market. In fact, much of the Indian below poverty line segment comprises farmers. We at GT Bharat are the largest contributors in this space in terms of working with over 1 million farmers through over 1,000 FPOs in 14 states. Let me move to a second area after talking about those small and marginal farmers. Sustainable livelihoods for women through upgradation of self-help groups, SHGs as they are called. In India, the SHG movement is now evolving from meeting the basic consumption expenditure of the rural poor and facilitating delivery of public services into income generation and enterprise development initiatives. This is progressively ensuring social empowerment of poor women folk, as well as their economic development. Society at the rural level is now being transformed. Now, in order to meet SDG 2030 Goal 1, no poverty, and Goal 5, gender equality, it's imperative to transform strong women-centric institutions like these SHGs into entrepreneurial hubs. India has evolved as the world's largest network of women self-help groups involving as many as 80 million women. 80 million women. GT Bharat is leading this initiative of upgrading the SHG ecosystem in partnership with leading foundations, CSR initiatives of corporates like yourselves, and supporting the livelihood missions in several states, Assam, Punjab, Jharkhand, Odisha, Uttarakhand, West Bengal, as the program managers. Over 500,000 women are being empowered through various initiatives. A third area I want to talk about was skilling Indian youth. We all know India has one of the youngest populations in the world, with a median age of 28. However, only 2.3% of this workforce has undergone any kind of formal skilling. Only 2.3%. And that contrasts, if you look at with the developed world, the US at 52% on one side, and Germany at 80%, Japan, somewhere there, and South Africa at 95%. Only 2.3%. And the National Policy for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship in 2015 identified skill gap in 110 million people in 24 key sectors. Vocational education, therefore, needs to be prioritized at the same level as primary and secondary education. And GT Bharat is working with 11 states and industry partners, to upgrade skills of over 2 million beneficiaries with a successful placement rate of over 76%. Last area I want to talk about was MSMEs. The MSME sector contributes to about 45% of the country's manufacturing, 40% of exports, and about 30% of GDP. About 65 million enterprises, 6.5 crore MSME enterprises provide employment to 110 million individuals. Credit and infrastructure are the two critical gaps for MSMEs. Barely 1 in 5 MSMEs have access to formal finance. Barely 1 in 5. And GT Bharat is working closely with SIDBI in promoting a 10,000 crore SIDBI cluster development fund for targeting the infrastructure gap at the state level for MSMEs, and operationalizing SIDBI supported program management units in 20 states to strengthen the state level ecosystem for MSMEs, covering about 84% of all MSMEs in the country. So to conclude, there is a massive opportunity and even a greater threat for us at India Inc. The pandemic has only furthered this divide between the rich and the poor, between women and men, between MSMEs and India Inc. We've been able to touch the lives and livelihoods at Grant Thornton Bharat, perhaps 5 million people so far. Clearly, we have to do a lot more. And I look for support from you, the leaders of India Inc., to play your part in supporting this, not only through your CSR programs, but also integrating the bottom of the pyramid into your business strategy. Because that is how we will together shape a more vibrant Bharat, not just a bigger India. I'll end with a quote from a truly inspirational woman leader, Oprah Winfrey. If you look at what you have in life, you'll always have more. If you look at what you don't have in life, you'll never have enough. Let's look at how much all of us have and how we can use it to shape a better India. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Mr. Sanjeev Mehta, Chairman of Awards Jury and Chairman and Managing Director, Hindustan Unilever Limited, and President Unilever South Asia, to deliver the theme address.
C.K. Ranganathan, Rekha Sethi, Nikhil, Vishesh, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and namaskar. Absolutely delighted to have the honor to address all of you on IMA's Foundation Day on a subject that in many ways has become synonymous with the world that we live in today, radical change. Though many of us don't like to change, the good news is that as a species, we are hardwired for change. Rick Potts from the Smithsonian Institution's National Museum of Natural History had said, in the modern era, we know that in the human genome, there are all kinds of interactions that allow human organisms to have plasticity. The capacity to adjust is itself an evolved characteristic. Interesting, isn't it? We have the capacity to adapt to change, and it is change that pushes us forward into the future. During the height of the Cold War, its aftermath, and until very recently, we made sense of the world through the VUCA framework. Volatility, uncertainty, ambiguity, and complexity were the characteristics of the chaotic world that we lived in. However, given the upheavals that we have witnessed, especially in the last couple of years, the VUCA model appears to fall short of explaining what we were and continue to experience. The Barney framework proposed by anthropologist Jemias Cascio, appears to be a more relevant rubric to help us understand and prepare for the brittle, anxious, non-linear, and incomprehensible or the Barney world of today. The last few years have shown us that seemingly unbreakable systems and mechanisms can snap without warning. Overwhelming and excessive information can lead to action paralysis. Seemingly small and insignificant incidents can have disproportionate impact, and comprehensive understanding of events and their effects is near impossible. Even then, our world today is characterized as much by opportunities as it is by challenges. The only option for us is to adapt and thrive. Time and again, global crises have put humanity on the brink of collapse, have also brought in transformations. Let's talk about pandemics. In the 14th century, Black Death, as the plague epidemic was called, resulted in a significant proportion of the world's population being wiped out. But it also resulted in better standard of living for the survivors. The cholera pandemic in the early 19th century resulted in a focus on sanitation and hygiene across the world. Similarly, the Spanish flu that coincided with the First World War resulted in the institutionalization of public healthcare systems across several countries. The COVID-19 pandemic is not the first and won't be the last of its kind. It proves the theory that the steep rise in zoonotic diseases has come as a result of unsustainable human practices, leading to climate change and a loss of biodiversity. If we weren't already aware, it has emphasized the fragility and unviability of a current lifestyle on this planet. While pandemics and man-made disasters cause enormous damage, they're also catalysts for change. The future may bring unforeseen challenges and require us to reinvent completely. But forging ahead, despite uncertainties, to lead change instead of being led by it is the only way forward for us. Given this context, I believe that climate change and technology are the two areas where we need to take charge to be able to steer decisively into the future. Climate change needs us to adopt change at a global level to prevent further damage to the planet, while technology is increasingly driving the way we do business and lead our lives. Let me talk about climate change first. All of us know about the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report, which has clearly called out the climate change needs to be halted with immediate effect. It has stated emphatically that extreme weather, climate action failure, and human-led environmental damage are going to be risk with the highest likelihood of occurrence and will have a big impact in the coming decades. Climate change was never only the purview of governments and international bodies. It requires collective and bold actions across the board, including organizations like Hindustan Unilever, which is an integral part of 9 out of the 10 households in the country. In fact, it is not just a responsibility. It is something that consumers are increasingly demanding of us. According to the Edelman Trust Barometer 2021, business is the only institution that has retained trust levels among citizens in comparison with other institutions such as governments, NGOs, and the media. People are looking up to business to aid the government in fixing societal problems. Decisive steps are already being taken on this front. Several governments, including India, have outlined bold action plans at COP26. India, as we all know, has set itself an ambitious target of raising its non-fossil fuel-based energy capacity to 500 gigawatts by 2030. Apart from renewable energy, the National Hydrogen Mission has placed green hydrogen at the core of the country's energy security and could emerge as a strong alternative to address India's energy needs. Across the world, 700 businesses, including Unilever, representing 13 trillion in market cap and employing over 24 million people, are setting 1.5 degrees Celsius aligned targets and working towards reducing emissions globally by 2030. Around 70% of the global economy, too, is now committed to net zero by 2050. At Unilever, we have made sustainability a core part of all that we do. Climate action is at the heart of a Unilever strategy, which integrates business and sustainability in a seamless fashion. Last year, we announced a new set of global actions and commitments designed to improve the health of the planet. They include a commitment to have net zero emissions from all our products by 2039, from the sourcing of products to the point of sale. Unilever is also challenging itself to higher standards to protect high carbon ecosystems like forests, peatlands, and tropical rainforests. It is also aiming for a deforestation-free supply chain by 2023. Simultaneously, we also announced a plan to tackle the most visible environmental issue in the consumer goods industry, which is plastic packaging. It has set bold targets globally, that including halving the use of virgin plastic and helping to collect and process more plastic packaging than it uses in its finished products. In India, in 21, we collected more plastic waste from the streets of India than the plastic we use in the packaging of our finished products. Climate change will need concerted action over the medium and long term and consistent efforts from all stakeholders. I think we have made a reasonably good start with the COP26, and it is for us to continue that momentum and make every action count. From climate change, I would like to move to another crucial denominator of the Bani world that we live in today, technology. While technology and digital proliferation have been a part of our lives from even before the pandemic, the speed at which they have become integral to our very existence is phenomenal. The ubiquity of technology and need for mainstreaming it is greater good for amply evident in the announcements made by our finance minister, Madam Nirmala Sitharaman, during a budget speech, leveraging digital channels and using technology to strengthen agriculture, healthcare, and education, which are the foundational pillars driving India towards our ambition of becoming a middle-income country. At HUL, technology is key enabler, as articulated in our Reimagine HUL strategy. It is a vision of how we want to leverage data, harness latest technologies and emerging business models to redefine how we engage with consumers, customers, and the way in which we operate. The object is not only to stay abreast of the changing needs of a digital connected ecosystem, but also about creating structural capabilities to provide superior value to consumers. We are building an intelligent enterprise, moving away from the traditional linear value chain to a non-linear ecosystem by building distinctive capabilities across the organization. The HUL of the future will be a web of intelligent ecosystems, the consumer ecosystem, the customer ecosystem, the operations ecosystem, with data, technology, and analytics center stage. We're in the midst of a paradigm shift where the intelligence of machines will complement human ingenuity to do good, do better, and do it smarter. It is with the help of this very technology that we were able to mount the largest vaccination drive that the world has witnessed, as it will possibly be this very technology that will help us combat climate change effectively. From climate change and adoption of technology, it is imperative that I talk about the most crucial piece of the puzzle, people. Human capital is and will continue to be at the heart of all that we do. It is therefore important to invest in nurturing and building leaders of the future who are geared to take on this Bani world with ease and aplomb. Preparing them for this, however, must be integrated right into our education system. We need to shift our focus from literacy to empowering our children and youth with skills that equip them better for the employment market. At the same time, success in the future will be driven as much by attitude and outlook as it will be driven by skills and expertise. I believe that the following traits that successful leaders of tomorrow need to imbibe will be critical as we lead the world into a sustainable future. First is, as CK rightly said, we need to be driven by purpose. I cannot emphasize this enough. Profits cannot beyond a point be the driving forces for growth. It is purpose that make organization last a lifetime and become an inseparable part of people's life. Purpose to me is an expression of the kind of societal impact an entity intends to achieve, which is also reflected in all its actions. Organizations with a strong why have been able to stay the course even during tough times. Second is compassion. If purpose is the fuel, then compassion is the driving force. It is what helps effective leaders understand and address systemic issues. Compassion must not be confused with sympathy or pity. Rather, it is the ability to understand a challenge from all perspectives and arrive at decisions that are holistic. Agility and adaptability. Alongside purpose and compassion, the third essential trait for the leader of tomorrow is the ability to stay agile, focus on the long term. Adaptability is the foresight to keep revisiting strategies and having the resilience to drive them forward despite challenges. If anything happening in any part of the world can disproportionately affect any of us to any extent, then agility and adaptability is the best response. Sense making is an essential skill in a world where variables are constantly changing. It is the ability to work with whatever information is available to make sense of the complex world. Sense making involves pulling together disparate views to create a plausible understanding of the complexity around us, testing it, understanding to refine it, or if necessary, abandoning it to start again. While this might sound obvious, partnerships beyond organizational frontiers and even national borders has become essential today. We need future leaders who can operate with a high level of trust and collaboration by exchanging ideas, open to change, and they work together across boundaries to address the challenges that confront us. Sense-making and collaboration can make the incomprehensible coherent to a certain extent and pave the way for action with what we can presently make of the situation. While these traits are essential for future leaders, I must emphasize that humility and ambition, what I call as ambition, underpin all of them. A leader needs to have the drive to grow and the modesty to stay grounded despite highs or lows. A leader does not need to be perfect because considering the Barney nature of a world, what is expected of a leader changes more often than not. To quote former US President Barack Obama, change will not come if we wait for some other person or if we wait for some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek, be it radical or otherwise. Let us learn to thrive amidst change because change will remain the only constant. Thank you, and thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, on this occasion, we present the IMA Awards of Excellence to distinguished professionals for their outstanding contributions. We begin with the presentation of the IMA Dr. Ram Tarneja Award for Best Article in Indian Management. Through this award, IMA recognizes outstanding authors who contributed the best article of the year in Indian management, IMA's management journal, brought out in association with Spenta Multimedia Private Limited. Let us watch the award video. A distinguished publisher of books, journals, and digital products, Mr. Vivek Mehra is a TEDx speaker, a mentor to startups, a workshop trainer, and an author. He's a keen observer of business trends and an intense management thinker. His slew of awards includes Business Excellence and Innovative Best Practices Academia Award, Sharda Top Rankers Excellence Award for Visionary Leadership, and Vijayshri Award by the Government of Maharashtra. His article, The Foundation of Resilience, has been adjudged as the best article in IMA's Management Journal Indian Management in 2021, a topic that is close to his heart. The article urges the need to redefine the organization's resilience as the ability to adapt to any unnatural adverse event that has the potential to cripple it. By constantly building a culture of trust, long-term people-focused objectives, and making empathetic leadership an integral part of all rungs of management. All India Management Association is pleased to present the 2021 IMA Dr. Ram Taneja Award for Best Article in Indian Management to Mr. Vivek Mehra, the CEO and Managing Director of Sage Publications India. May I now request Mr. Vivek Mehra, Managing Director and CEO Sage India, to say a few words.
Namaskar and Abhinandan. I am truly honored that IMA has bestowed the Dr. Ram Taneja Award for Best Article Written in Indian Management, published in 2021. The foundation of resilience is a subject that is very close to my heart. As the pandemic has caused hybrid workspaces and work from home to become the default, it is important that this subject be further researched and reviewed. I once again thank IMA for bestowing this honor on me. Namaskar, Abhinandan.
We would also like to thank the jury members for their valuable time and contribution. The next award of the day is the IMA Dr. J.S. Juneja Award for Creativity and Innovation in Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. May I now request Dr. J.S. Juneja, past President IMA, to introduce the award.
It is my honor to introduce IMA Dr. J.S. Juneja Award for Creativity and Innovation for Micro, Small, Medium Enterprises. IMA instituted this award in 2003 and has been recognizing and applauding the spirit of MSMEs for innovation. In this effort, a book was also brought on innovation key to success for enterprises and released by the Honorable Minister of Commerce, Industry and Textiles, Ms. Piyush Goyal, to share knowledge and encourage MSMEs to innovate. The award jury is chaired by the Honorable Mr. Pratyush Sinha, former CVC. I would like to congratulate the winner, FIB Soul Life Technologies, who are producing innovative products on biofertilizers, and the two runners-up, Invent India, Innovation and Rego.
A grassroots innovators that has developed a range of natural stabilizers to improve crop growth and farm yield. FIBSOL Life Technologies is promoting sustainable agriculture using biotechnology. The company offers gels and fibers that improve availability of nutrients to plants. It partners IIT Madras in developing and testing its biotech solutions. It has obtained patents for an ultra-lightweight nanofiber polymer for use in agriculture and industry and a quorum sensing polymer that stimulates biofilm and other related phenotypes. Dr. Kavita Sairam, Director FIBSOL, has PhD in biotechnology from IIM Madras, and she has done extensive research on stress biology and encapsulation techniques. She has received government grants for her research and her papers have been published internationally. All India Management Association is pleased to present the IMA Dr. J.S. Juneja Award for Creativity and Innovation for Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises 2021 to FIBSOL Life Technologies Chennai through its director Dr. Kavita Sairam. May I now request Dr. Kavita Sairam to say a few words.
Greetings, myself Dr. Kavita Sairam, founder and CEO of FIBSOL Life Technologies. We are very happy to be conferred with AIME J.S. Juneja Award for Creativity and Innovation in MSME. I am very happy to receive this award on behalf of FIBSOL and its team. This is a very proud moment for us. It gives a lot of impetus for us to work harder and progress further. Thank you AIME for this wonderful opportunity, and I am very pleased to receive this award on behalf of FIBSOL. Thank you.
We would also like to thank the jury members for their valuable time and contribution. We now come to our next award, which is the IMA Public Service Excellence Award. Ladies and gentlemen, let us watch the introduction video.
The IMA Public Service Excellence Award, instituted in 1998, is bestowed in honor of the recipient's commitment to nationally important issues, social responsibility, and environmental preservation. It's a celebration of the individual's philosophy, moral values, ethics, integrity, and consistency towards work culture.
They braved all odds to help the citizens of the country at a time when it mattered the most. They are the unsung warriors who went beyond their call of duty and made a difference during some of the most difficult time during the COVID crisis. The IMA Public Service Excellence Award goes out to all the anonymous frontline workers of India. We laud you, we are proud of you, we salute you.
This past year has been tough for all, especially the frontline workers in the healthcare. Thank you, Emma, for recognizing the anonymous frontline workers. Thank you.
എന്നെ പോലെ വേറെ അനേകായിരം പേരെ സഹായിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഇത് എല്ലാവർക്കും വേണ്ടിയുള്ളതാണ്. ആയിമയ്ക്ക് നന്ദി.
डर हमें भी लगता था, हमारे पास भी सुरक्षा कुछ नहीं थी, पर हम इस सब चीज को झेलते हुए खाना पहुंचाते थे, अपना काम करते थे.
ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಬಂದ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿವ್, ಲಾಕ್ಡೌನ್ ಇದ್ರೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನ್ಯಾಗ ಕುಂತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾ ಬಂದ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿವ್, ಮನ್ಯಾಗ ಕುಂತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸಣ್ಣ ಸಣ್ಣ ಹುಡುಗರು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಂದ್ ಮಾಡಿವ್.
कोविड की महामारी के दौरान भी हमने वेयर हाउस में सिर्फ में काम करके उसको 24 घंटे चलाया है. हमने रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में इस्तेमाल होने वाले हर सामान को स्टॉक हमेशा भरपूर रखा है ताकि इस मुश्किल समय में देश के लोगों तक हर सामान पहुंच सके.
मुझे इस बात का गर्व है, मैं इस महामारी में देश और लोगों की सेवा कर पाया. मैं AIMA का भी बहुत आभारी हूँ. हमें हमारे इस काम को सराहा और इसके लिए सम्मानित किया.
2 सालको कोरोनाको महामारीमा पनि हामीले दोकानलाई बन्द गरेन र हामीले जति सक्दो पब्लिकलाई सामान दिने कोशिश गर्यो र आइमालाई धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु कि हाम्रो दोकान राम्रो चलोस्.
हमने लोगों की मदद की, सामान पहुंचाया. बहुत मुश्किल था ये करना, पर लेकिन लोगों को इस बीमारी से बचाने के लिए ये करना पड़ा और आप लोगों ने हमें पहचाना, इसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
বর্তমান কোভিড-19 প্রতিমারী পরিস্থিতিতে আমরা সাধারণ মানুষ আমাদের পরিবারের সদস্যদের প্রাণ বাঁচাতে এবং জনসাধারণের সাহায্য করতে সর্বদা সাধ্যমতো অনবরত লড়াই চালিয়ে যাচ্ছি.
असं एकही दिवस नव्हते की एकही गाड घरी बसेल. सर्व गाड उपस्थित असायचे, सर्व व्यवस्थित सुरळीत, सर्व व्यवस्थित आरोग्याने काम करायचे. थँक यू फॉर द आइमा. कोरोना के कठिन समय में हमने लोगों को उनके घर घर तक दवाइयाँ पहुँचाई और जो लोग दुकान पर आने में समर्थ थे उनको दुकान पे भी हमने दवाइयाँ पहुँचाई.
मैंने महामारी में हॉस्पिटल में सबको ले जाने की संघर्ष करा और मुझे डर भी लगता था अपनी इस ज़िंदगी से, पर फिर भी मैंने सेवा करी, लोगों को हॉस्पिटल लेके गया.
हमने जो कोरोना में यहाँ काम किया, हमें भी डर लगा और हमारा जो काम पहचाना यहाँ, उसके लिए धन्यवाद.
We are truly humbled by your wholehearted commitment and untiring efforts. Thank you once again for all that you've been doing for us.
Your dedication, commitment, and courage deserve our deepest gratitude and admiration. Thank you to all the frontline workers from the bottom of our hearts.
Selfless service in helping us get through these tough times is unparalleled. There aren't enough words to express our gratitude.
This IMA award is dedicated to the thousands and millions of individuals who have done an amazing job on the front line during the COVID.
It is a privilege for us to be able to honor these unsung heroes. They deserve a huge round of applause, not just today, but every day.
The next award for the day is the IMA Lifetime Achievement Award for Management. Instituted in 1999, this award is a recognition of sustained and exemplary leadership. The award recipients in this category have left indelible footprints in the management profession, thought, and culture. Let us watch the award video.
An iconic business leader, he has built a global consumer products and services corporation. He has successfully challenged formidable multinationals in India's beauty and wellness market and carved out a space for domestic innovations. He has established Marico as a global brand in more than 25 countries. He has transformed his family's commodity trading firm into a brand-led corporation and then founded Marico as an FMCG powerhouse. He has created many successful consumer brands including Parachute and Saffola and made Marico a leader across diverse market segments including edible oils, hair care, skin care, health foods, male grooming and fabric care. A passionate innovator himself, Mr. Mariwala's entrepreneurial spirit and his passion for weaving a culture of innovation led him to set up Marico Innovation Foundation to catalyze disruptive Indian innovations. He is also the founder of Ascent, a not-for-profit expression of his personal passion to identify and enable high-potential growth stage entrepreneurs in their journey to grow both as entrepreneurs and their enterprises. All India Management Association is pleased to confer the 2021 IMA Lifetime Achievement Award for Management on Mr. Harsh Mariwala, Chairman, Marico Limited.
Congratulations, Harsh, on a really well-deserved award.
Thank you so much.
I'm really proud
Thank you.
to give you this award.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. This is the citation and the award.
Thank you.
May I now request Mr. Harsh Mariwala to say a few words.
Hello all. I am truly honored to get this Lifetime Achievement Award from All India Management Association, and I sincerely want to thank all the jury members for conferring this award to me. My journey started at a very, very young age, and I started working at the age of 20. I had just done my graduation from the Bombay University, and compared to many of you, I'm just a plain graduate. I just joined the family business at that time. I was the first person from the next generation. So my father was the eldest and he had 3 brothers. And we had our office in Bombay in a very, very congested area in Masjid Bandar, which is the heart of commodity markets and the busiest, one of the busiest places in India. I didn't have any brief in terms of what I was going to do, nor was anybody there to guide me. My father suggested that why don't I look at different businesses, explore and then decide what I want to do. One thing I was very clear from day one was that I was wanted to set up my own business, and I didn't want to work for anybody else. So in that exploration, I realized that the edible oil business, which was one of the 3 businesses which the family had, was mainly in unbranded. It was not doing too well, and I saw an opportunity of converting that business from unbranded to branded. As a person, I was shy, introvert. I didn't want to get into a business which required B2B selling or entertain somebody. That time the environment also was of license Raj. So a lot of my friends used to spend a lot of time in Delhi to get a license. And the license became the route to success. Luckily, I was not cut out for that, and I was able to identify the FMCG business, which did not require any regulatory approvals, and it meant dealing with distributors, retailers, whom I was very comfortable with. So that's how my journey began, and it's been a long time since I started and I set it up. But in that journey, I've had multiple failures. And it's okay to fail. They say that sometimes you win and sometimes you fail. And I say that sometimes you win, you fail, but you always learn. And most of my failures have been backed up by very, very strong learning. So the biggest learning for me was that it's okay to take risks, okay to experiment, it's okay to fail. But if you fail, there has to be some learning out of that failure which you could apply to subsequent part of your journey. They say that passion is very important to succeed in business. I totally agree. But passion by itself is not enough. Passion has to be combined with determination and perseverance. And that's when you get grit. So if failure has to be managed, you have to have grit, which means that you have to be passionate about that subject and you have to persevere and be determined that you will try again and succeed. At some stage in your journey, you start realizing what have you done. In the initial part of my journey, I wanted to build a business, get a scale, which I did, make profits, which I did, monetary gains at a personal level, which happened, recognition, which happened by getting awards or getting written about. But at some stage in one's life, one starts questioning, what is life about? And what are you meant for? And that is the time you realize that you need to have a purpose in life. And I identified a purpose in life which goes beyond just working in a business. And my purpose in life is to make a difference to others, be more every day. because a purposeful life is very crucial for every individual. They say that the two most important days in your life are the day you are born, and the next most important day in your life is to identify why you were born, or to realize why you were born. And I think when I realized that, it really enriched me, because I was able to lead my life in a purposeful way. So let me end by wishing all of you all the best, and end by saying that the purpose of life is a life of purpose. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now come to our last award for the day, which is the IMA JRD Tata Corporate Leadership Award. This award, established in 1995, recognizes the recipients' contribution to society and nation at large, as well as their corporate leadership in steering their organization towards achieving excellence. Let us watch the award video.
An exceptional and renowned leader, he helms one of India's most iconic and cherished brands, Hero. He has nurtured and groomed Hero MotoCorp to make it the world's largest manufacturer of motorcycles and scooters, a position the company holds since 2001. Under his leadership, Hero MotoCorp crossed the illustrious milestone of 100 million cumulative sales in 2001, thus providing mobility to 100 million people. A man with a truly global vision and boundless dynamism, he has transformed Hero MotoCorp into a global organization with world-class research and innovation centers and an international footprint spanning 43 countries. A keen observer and driver of emerging mobility trends and latest technologies, he is now focused on clean mobility solutions and democratizing electric vehicles across the world. An avid golfer himself, he has put India on the world map through the promotion of football, field hockey, golf, cricket and motorsports. A champion of sustainability, diversity and inclusion, his efforts have resulted in Hero MotoCorp being listed in the Dow Jones Sustainability Index and women making up a quarter of the company's board. A voracious reader, he has been engaged in sharing the wealth of his knowledge with students and startups as he aims to build a better world for future generations. The All India Management Association is pleased to present the IMA JRD Tata Corporate Leadership Award for 2021 to Dr. Pawan Munjal, Chairman and CEO, Hero MotoCorp Limited.
Thank you.
May I now request Dr. Pawan Munjal to say a few words.
Dear Nikhil, Dr. Juneja, Sunil, Rekha and Dwarkanath, thank you so very much for coming over to confer me with this special recognition. My namaskar to all of you who have joined us today. Let me first congratulate all of you at IMA on your 66th Foundation Day. This association has continued to be a beacon of management thought leadership for corporates, professionals and students alike. I feel overwhelmed and humbled today. I wholeheartedly thank IMA for bestowing me with this prestigious honor. I accept this recognition with utmost gratitude. The JRD Tata Award in recognition of corporate leadership reminds me of one of Mr. JRD Tata's visionary views on leadership. To be a leader, you have to lead human beings with affection. His wisdom resonates with me at many levels, as even my father, Chairman Emeritus Dr. Brij Mohan Lal Munjal, had a similar philosophy towards people, work and life. At Hero MotoCorp, even as we expand globally, we have ensured that we maintain our values, culture and empathetic approach towards our fellow human beings, our environment and our planet. The fact that I am receiving this award following a year that saw the biggest humanitarian crisis that we all have ever experienced validates these core values and what I, along with my team, intended to do and in fair measure achieved during this unprecedented period. I am a firm believer that together the human race is poised to achieve significant milestones in the near future. I, along with my colleagues across the global hero ecosystem, remain committed to energizing the economy and working towards making our planet greener, safer, and more sustainable. While I rejoice in this recognition, I take this opportunity to acknowledge the support of the entire Hero family, including my team, our business partners, and all our stakeholders who have worked tirelessly to support Hero MotoCorp maintain its market leadership. In equal part, I thank my soulmate, my wife Anisha, my children Vasudha, Pankaj, Supriya, and Anuvrat, who have been and will always be my pillars of strength, while my adorable grandchildren Shiv and Saina keep me motivated, young, and energized. Thank you once again to the entire team at IMA and to everyone who has joined us today to be a part of this special and momentous occasion in my life. I truly appreciate you all being here for me today. Thank you and God bless.
We would also like to thank the jury members for their valuable time and contribution.
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the award presentation ceremony. Many congratulations to all our distinguished awardees. May I now request the dignitaries to virtually release the IMA Foundation Day souvenir. Thank you. We now have Mr. Amitabh Kant, CEO, Niti Aayog, with us.
Yeah, a warm welcome to you, Mr. Amitabh Kant. It's a privilege to have you join us today, and many thanks for agreeing to deliver the keynotes of IMA's Foundation Day ceremony. As a CEO of Niti Aayog, you are central to the government's policy-making capacity. Under your leadership, the policy research and recommendations body is doing an outstanding job. A renowned bureaucrat, you have many achievements to your credit during your career, especially in the area of policy branding. You have been the driving force behind many of India's branded initiatives such as Make in India, Startup India, Incredible India, God's Own Country, and Aditi Devo Bhava. You have played a central role in the government's ease of doing business campaign and promoting competition among the states through rankings. You are also the chairman of one of the 11 groups formed by the government to tackle COVID. Your creativity and initiative make you a valuable asset to the government and also to the public. Once again, thank you for joining us today and a very warm welcome to you. Over to you, Mr. Amitabh.
Mr. Sanjeev Mehta, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to address you here today on the 66th Foundation Day of the All India Management Association and also on the occasion of the National Management Day. The world is in a constant state of flux. As a consequence of this, the phenomenon of uncertainty is all pervasive. We encounter it every day in almost every aspect of our lives. It is a key characteristic of the natural environment. All human systems and processes have to contend with it. We even encounter it when we go down to the level of the atom. Simply put, no matter where we look, there is always an element of uncertainty. It is inescapable. Thus, for every organization, be it government, institution, or a private business, the ability to navigate uncertainty is a key enabler of success. Only then can uncertainty be transformed into a catalyst for innovation and positive change. Uncertainty itself is a spectrum. There's always some measure of uncertainty that organization and business leaders have to contend with. Sometimes analysis can indicate a whole range of projected scenarios and situations for which an organization can and must prepare strategies and contingency plans. But in some instances, no amount of analysis and preparation will work, especially when faced with a black swan event. The COVID-19 pandemic is a prime example of a black swan event for which no amount of prior preparation could prepare the world for what was coming. With the onset of the pandemic, the situation was constantly changing, and the response also had to be changed to mirror the changing requirements. Governments and organizations rose to the occasion by deploying strategies which were agile and adaptive. Agility and adaptability were key factors in the government's COVID-19 response strategy, which in turn contributed to the nation's resilience. Central to achieving the necessary agility was the constant monitoring of the situation and incorporation of feedback from the deployment of response measures. To achieve this, the monitoring and tracking mechanisms, especially relating to disease surveillance and contact tracing, underwent radical strengthening along with the traditional data collection systems. The data helped derive evidence and insight, which constantly provided the necessary feedback to the larger response strategy. The feedback and the iterative process of using evidence to inform decision making was thus key to addressing the challenges. Data is not only key to helping mitigate uncertainty, but it is also central to improving governance and systems. Data is an immensely powerful tool that can revolutionize governance and bolster citizen-centric delivery of services. We have used this for improving the ease of doing business as well as in the aspirational district program. Let me give you an example. In the aspirational district program, we selected 115 of the most backward districts of India and used convergence, collaboration, and competition to drive reforms across socio-economic parameters. We ranked these districts on how well they perform across a number of indicators. This has led to getting us real-time data, ranking districts, creating a sense of competition and a healthy competition at that. It has pushed districts to compete and work towards improving their rankings by taking concrete developmental action. Today, some of these districts, as per an independent UNDP assessment, are doing better than other districts in the country. In fact, in the union budget, the finance minister stated that 95% of these districts have in fact surpassed state averages. The key has been data, constant monitoring, and putting this data based on ranking in public domain. The COVID-19 pandemic has been extensively disruptive in terms of economic activity and loss of human lives across the globe. At the same time, this crisis has presented us with unique opportunities that can be leveraged to build back differently and innovatively. The pandemic brought new problems and challenges. These new challenges required new strategies to address them. There were interesting new approaches which were evolved to help solve the challenges brought by the pandemic. The pandemic facilitated the use of technology to leapfrog. Two major platform tools which emerged were the Arogya Setu and CoWIN. The Arogya Setu app became a key in carrying out contact tracing, and the CoWIN app became an indispensable tool in helping manage one of the world's largest vaccination rollouts. As on date, 1.75 billion vaccine doses have been administered and vaccination certificates have been issued through this platform. This is a Herculean task and a great achievement. India's successful vaccination drive, driven digitally, has played a crucial role in protecting lives and livelihoods and accelerating economic recovery. A country's resilience to uncertainty depends on the resilience of its people. There are numerous schemes which are designed from the perspective of enhancing socio-economic outcomes. The government is aggressively pursuing saturation of key government schemes relating to rural road connectivity, housing, households, bank accounts, issuance of beneficiary cards under Ayushman Bharat, gas connections through the Ujjwala Yojana, and the government's insurance and pension schemes. We now have the world's largest health insurance scheme, Ayushman Bharat, which has the beneficiary base of 50 crore Indians. Such schemes are not only central to accelerated and inclusive development, but play an important role in the strengthening of socio-economic outcomes and enhancing the resilience of its citizens and the country as a whole. Today, India is witnessing unprecedented levels of economic development and technological disruptions. The economy is growing at 9.2% and expected to grow at similar rates in the coming years, making us one of the fastest growing large economies in the world. A key factor that contributes to handling uncertainty is preparedness. Economic prosperity of a country better prepares it to manage unforeseeable scenarios in the future. We as a country understand this and have been able to take several measures to improve our systems to maximize efficiency. Mammoth reforms have been undertaken by the Government of India: the Goods and Services Tax, the Bankruptcy Code, the Real Estate Regulatory Management Act, lowering of corporate tax, demonopolization of coal, new definition of MSMEs, to name a few. These are not just bold structural reforms, but also mark the introduction of innovative and path-breaking schemes for making India a global manufacturing champion and an export hub of the world. If you look at the chronology of reforms, you will see that they all add up to the vision of an aspirational India. The government has also rolled out some truly robust infrastructure schemes such as the National Infrastructure Pipeline, the National Asset Monetization Pipeline, and the PM Gati Shakti. Their combined effect will ensure integrated development of world-class infrastructure with the participation of both the government and the private sector. Innovative financial models such as infrastructure investment trusts, InvITs, REITs, etc. also being introduced across the infrastructure space. With the necessary macro and micro growth drivers in place, the stage is set for the investment cycle to start and catalyze sustainable growth for cementing India's position as the world's fastest growing major economy for the long term. Addressing uncertainty is not just about playing to existing strengths, but to identify new opportunities which contribute to strengthening of this position. More than 500 million people are working, living, and traveling in Indian cities. And this rapid growth will pose several social, economic, and environmental challenges. India has to take the lead to build new industries that will accelerate growth and create jobs. This transformation is feasible when we advance technology, foster innovation, and become champions in emerging areas of global growth. We are therefore aiming to embrace innovation in a range of new areas to enable sustained growth for long periods. In India, the key to disruptive transformation lies in the sunrise areas of growth, such as electronics manufacturing, medical devices, telecom and networking, white goods, solar PV cells, battery storage, advanced chemistry cell, automobiles, specialty steel, and drones. The performance-linked incentive schemes have been designed to boost these sunrise sectors. The PLI schemes are aimed at creating long-term solutions specifically designed to boost domestic manufacturing in sunrise and strategic sectors like battery storage, mobile manufacturing, clean mobility, and solar PV. The minimum production in India as a result of the PLI schemes is expected to be over $520 billion in the next 5 years, which will make us an integral part of the global value chain. Technology is always a major catalyst for development. In recent times, the speed of development and adoption of technology in society has been unprecedented. As a consequence, there are profound changes taking place in almost every aspect of human life. The world is changing faster than ever. We must understand that most institutions we see today were created some decades ago, but at a time when success was measured not by adaptability, proactiveness, and agility, but instead by the ability to maintain stability, that is, maintaining the status quo. My firm belief is that no modern institution can succeed if it exists only to maintain the status quo. The success of modern institutions, therefore, has to be measured by its agility and adaptability. For governments and organizations, this means constantly evolving, taking risks, and innovating and embracing technology. The only way to address technological disruptions is to embrace it without embracing it. The understanding of technology will remain elusive. Given the fast-paced nature of change, it becomes important to have robust strategy. And therefore, as a country, India, if you look at it, we are highly connected. Today, there are more than 814 million internet users. We add a new internet user every 3 seconds. With the proliferation of smartphones and a slew of initiatives under the aegis of Digital India programs such as Aadhaar, JAM Trinity, UPI, GST, we have been successful in creating a vibrant ecosystem of technology that is powering our ambition to become a global technological and economic hub. Digitization is playing a crucial role in empowering Indian citizens and unleashing transformative change in our lives. With increasing access to tech-based infrastructure, we've seen a huge movement in our Startup India movement. We have already become the 3rd largest startup ecosystem of the world, and we are having close to about 85 unicorns today. Today, technological convergence is critical. I recently read The Future is Faster Than You Think, a book that I recommend that all of you must read. It will compel you to realize that change is inevitable, that it will be based on convergence, and that will be driven by technology. It will compel you to take a more risk-oriented approach. I read about Moore's law in this book. In 1965, the founder of Intel, Gordon Moore, noticed that transistors on an integrated circuit had been doubling every 18 months. So every 1.5 years, a computer became twice as powerful, and yet its cost remained the same. Moore's law is the reason why a smartphone in your pocket is 1,000 times smaller, 1,000 times cheaper, and 1,000,000 times more powerful than a supercomputer from the 1970s. And this trend is only accelerating. But this is not just limited to integrated circuits and chips. Ray Kurzweil, the director of engineering at Google in the 90s, has stated that this law extends to technology in general. Once a technology becomes digital, it will follow Moore's law. We'll use new technologies to design even newer and better technology, and this trend will continue exponentially without the cost increasing. This is what is known as the law of accelerating returns. The point here is that the most powerful tool of transformation today is technology, and organizations and institutions that do not recognize this fact will either wither away or lose their relevance. We must not view uncertainty as the enemy, but we must view uncertainty as a friend. We must view it as an opportunity for embracing radical change for a positive outcome. But for organizations and institutions to do so, adaptability and agility always has to be in focus. The first step in doing so requires acceptance of uncertainty. The moment we change how we perceive and respond to uncertainty, every crisis becomes another opportunity to thrive and flourish. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, uncertainty and change are pathways to greatness. The pathways to greatness is anchored in preparedness, the attention to detail, and evidence-based iterative decision process, keeping a tab on technologically relevant advancements, and most importantly, having durable systems and processes that can ensure consistent progress in the midst of change. So, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all the best and a great future in the midst of this uncertainty and change, which will only accelerate in the days to come. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Mr. Nikhil Sahni, Vice President IMA and Vice Chairman and Managing Director, Triveni Turbine Limited, to deliver the concluding remarks.
Mr. Amitabh Kant, Chief Executive Officer, Niti Aayog, Mr. C.K. Ranganathan, President IMA and Chairman and Managing Director, Kevin Care Private Limited, Mr. Sanjeev Mehta, Chairman of the Awards Jury and Chairman and Managing Director, Hindustan Unilever and President, Unilever South Asia, Vishesh Chandiok, CEO of Grant Thornton Bharat, Rekha Sethi, Director General IMA, ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to express IMA's gratitude to everyone who has joined in celebrating the organization's 66th Foundation Day and National Management Day with us today. Mr. Kant, it's been a privilege having you with us, and many thanks for delivering the keynote address and for presenting the IMA Awards as well. Your keynote was so very inspiring, and I'm sure that you have charged up everyone in the audience. No one could have brought in uncertainty and quantum physics much like you have. It is also very surprising to see that both Sanjeev as well as you talked about the same measures of adaptability and agility in the measures of tackling uncertainty. It is great to have someone with your vision and eloquence at the helm of Niti Aayog, and I'm confident that your initiatives and guidance will steer the Indian economy towards greater transformation and growth. Many thanks for being with us today and sharing your blueprint for a future Indian economy. Mr. Mehta, it was a pleasure listening to your theme address. Your clear and succinct explanation of the challenges and opportunities produced by uncertainty was an eye-opener. The move from VUCA to Bani is something that we should all look forward to and delve into in a much greater detail. Moreover, your mantras for managing radical change and growing complexity will be very helpful to both the young as well as seasoned business leaders. I'm sure that the audience has learned something new from you, and they can use your insights and prescriptions in their own enterprises. Many thanks for chairing the jury for this year's IMA Foundation Day Awards as well. You have helped us recognize and facilitate some outstanding business leaders for their extraordinary achievements. We are much obliged and thank you. Mr. Mariwala and Mr. Munjal, many congratulations to you on your respective awards. These awards have a great history, and its recipients of the past have defined the evolution of Indian business and management over the past many decades. It's been our privilege to present these awards to you for your special achievements. I hope that IMA can engage you in promoting new management thinking in the country in the time to come. IMA is pleased to confer this year's Public Service Excellence Award on the anonymous frontline workers who stake their personal well-being to treat and contain COVID and enable life and business to go on during the pandemic. The business and society is greatly indebted to these workers, and we all are extremely grateful to them. I also congratulate the winners of IMA Dr. Ram Tadneja Award for the Best Article in Indian Management, Mr. Vivek Mehra, and the winner of IMA Dr. J.S. Juneja Award for Creativity and Innovation in MSMEs, Dr. Kavita Sairam. It is our hope that these awards will spur you to even further excellence and greater achievements. I take this opportunity to acknowledge the contributions of our knowledge partner for these awards, Grant Thornton Bharat. A special thank you to the firm's CEO, Mr. Vishesh Chandiok, who has been extremely helpful. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been exposed to some astute insights and ideas on the evolving uncertainty and change in this session. And we'll further explore these themes in the following sessions with Mr. Mariwala as well as with Mr. Munjal. Managing radical change has always been a prime task for business leaders now, and we must all find our unique pathways to business agility and resilience. One thing that would remain constant in the process of adaptation and innovation is the changeability of leadership. The old leadership instincts and practices can inhibit the necessary transformation, and before the leaders change others, they must change themselves. To start with, management leaders must skill and reskill themselves and must acquire certain minimum digital know-how to appreciate the technological opportunities and threats that they must be able to lead remotely if and when required. Ultimately, managing radical uncertainty and change is about learning fast and moving on. I hope that today's lectures and conversations will help everyone find their own directions. It is my privilege to conclude this session and invite you to a session with an icon of Indian industry and learn from his experience and ideas. Thank you very much.